What's up, Zox fam? We're on day 6 of the account security series. We got a lot to jump into. Today is actually a pretty important day because we're actually going to be pushing to 40. So we're at 39, currently going into 40. Now, the main thing is that for this day, it's just really farming in the background. You're not really necessarily like honing in, doing too many specific things, because at this point, you should be in hell mode. Now, what we are going to be doing, though, is we're going to be cleaning up some of those hell teams so that you can actually scale higher, getting into hell 2, getting into hell 3 for some of your accounts, depending on what you might have. So I want to talk about the game plan. What exactly are we doing and how are we going to go about doing it? And these are just some tips that are going to really help you guys out tremendously. All right. So let's go ahead and let's jump into some of the things that have changed. Now, first things first. As far as unit investment, okay, what has changed on the units, gear, who are we taking to 6-star? You may notice that we actually took the boy Gray to 6-star. I was not lying to you guys when I said I was taking him to 6-star. Gray is just amazing for so much content. He's going to be great for Terra. He's going to be great for your Doki Doki team. And this is DPS Gray, mind you, right? So it's a completely different unit. I have him currently with an additional 1.9k attack. So he's almost at additional 2k attack, but I'll show you guys starting out first with my Leon and what we've changed, and I'll talk about why. So first thing that we've changed here is that we actually are putting Leon on a harvest set. Okay, so we dropped some attack, which we're still at 2.3k, which is great, but we decided to actually go for the harvest set, which is actually going to be giving us the opportunity to ignore defense, right? Now it says if the target's HP is above 50%, additionally ignore 30% of their defense. Now, the reason why this is so huge is because when you're looking at, like, for example, trying to like nuke things like Terra Matan as you go up higher, attack isn't going to be the only thing that cuts it, right? You're going to absolutely need effects like this. You're going to need more crit damage. And so that's something that we're kind of playing into. Depending on what you have, you actually can make this a lot easier. I know some people are going like with the Ting route, but for some people, if you don't have the Ting, what do, right? So that's why I'm actually still playing my Leon so that you guys can actually see the full scope of her value. Now, of course, with that, what we have over on the right side is attack percent on Mythic. We have crit damage and we have crit damage. Now, why are we running crit damage and crit damage? Well, you can technically get that crit rate. Keep in mind, you get an additional 15% when you're attribute advantage. So in reality, that's not 25. That's putting me at 5. That's 40%. And then plus the amount that I get from Gray is like another, that puts me at like 70%, right? So I'm actually hitting my marker by actually going into Terra Matan with her built like this. So it's perfectly fine to run her like this, especially at this point, because again, we're trying to make sure that she's dealing enough damage, because we're also bringing someone else that's also going to have a respectable amount of damage throughout the fight, is also going to help out tremendously. So Gray is also going to be another character we're bringing into here. We have him built on Harvest as well. He's on Onslaught for the 8 bonus, and he's going attack, crit rate, and crit damage. Because he's not attribute advantage, he's not going to be getting any bonus. So I actually feel a lot more comfortable with just having him be at that like 70-80% threshold. And then from there, he boosts himself all the way to 100, right? So I could go for some more crit damage on him, but you're gonna just not really get nearly as much value. But for what it's worth, yeah, I could technically like take this off, and that would probably drop him to about like 40-something%. So we might actually do that just for the sake of the crit damage stacking, because I didn't realize he had enough, and that might be from substats. So we might be able to go with another crit damage piece. Let me actually see here. So that puts me at about 46%, so 70%. Yeah, so Gray on that is actually not bad. It gives him an additional 93% crit damage. We'll take it. So yeah, we'll take that, right? Oh, and you know what? I'm forgetting Gray also gets he gets some crit rate along the way from his skill 2, right? So I think it's his skill 2. Yeah, so crit rate 4%, 8% right there. And then if I have any dupes in him, that might also be a factor. I just want to double check that. Yeah, I got some dupes in him. So, I mean, he's pretty obtainable. He's an RGB, so 8% there, 12% for the effect accuracy. So yeah, that does make up some of that stat. So yeah, that actually ends up working for Gray. So yeah, we're going to actually keep him like that. And then I would say if we wanted to level this more, we could level this more, but we'll leave it like that for right now. Outside of that, I think my build for everybody else is relatively the same. Some things that we're actually going to be prepping though, okay? Oh, and let me actually show you guys this, right? So we actually pulled another LD on stream. This is why you guys can't miss the streams, man, because we be like just doing stuff, and I was saving my pools, and I was like, you know what? Like, we got raided. Shout out to Deity. Shout out to RNJ and Scion always for coming through and being in the streams as well. But yeah, we ended up getting raided, so it was like super fun. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just pull. And my SSR proc gave me a freaking Heinrich. So I literally missing 2 LDs, which is nuts. And so that's why I was saying, even like with characters like Heinrich, if you have him, he actually is going to be able to work in these strategies as well, because he has that last words debuff, which increases crit damage taken and the chance of critting, taking a crit hit by 7% up to 4 stacks. So that's going to be huge for those that are like looking for like you can replace Dino with him, for example. There's a lot of different things that you can see, or characters you can slot in for Heinrich, and he also will be able to offer damage himself. So, you know, really good character if you do have him. But again, I'm sticking to what I'm trying to work on now. Now, outside of that, that was just kind of like a side note. But outside of that, what we're actually doing is we're doing shell farming today, right? And that's really what I'm going to be blasting 800 stamina into Nico Nana. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't feel like it's nearly as valuable as farming modules just now, right? When you look at everything else in the game, you're going to be getting a 2 times on literally everything but shells, right? So I'm taking the time to actually farm my shells up, because shell farming is like huge. That is going to be the thing that really progresses you. And we're going to talk about, again, like I said, some of the game planning with that. And what I would say is like some of the most important stuff is making sure that you understand the transition of shells, right? So one of the things that we kind of already have squared away is like the damage. So we're currently shifted into a White Fang that is maxed out on my Leon. We don't care about passives just yet. We'll worry about passives later. I promise you it'll be something we'll do. But the main thing that we're doing too is we're hammering down stuff. So we gave the Twilight Knight to the Gray. So that's what we basically have there. Now, the next thing that we need to be concerned with, right? And this is something I don't think a lot of players are considering, because they're like, well, I could just go to Ting and do X amount of damage. And yeah. But let's say you don't get a Ting. Let's say you don't have a Heinrich. Let's say you don't have a Lily. What do? There's plenty of players that are pushing and they're trying to climb, and they're just like, hey, dude, like, how do I beat this, right? You have to progressively transition everything that is working on your team, right? So, okay, we got the DPS stuff squared away, right? We got them on the harvest pieces. I changed this from a onslaught swift rush to an onslaught harvest. And because you're farming Nico Nana, she's going to be also dropping epics. This is why epics still drop, because you're going to need to maybe transition some of your sets, right? Now, the other thing that's really important is that when you're looking at your units that are keeping you alive, let's talk about it, okay? Your units that are keeping you alive, for example, like Diamond Heart, you need to transition this, right? So like in those earlier stages, we were able to get away with a Diamond Heart that was level 20, right? If we're looking at my Biotin, that has a Diamond Heart that's capped or uncapped to level 30, right? We can get away with that. But the thing that you might notice here is that the scaling is completely different, right? So when you read Diamond Heart, it says the main body axe increases its defense by 550 flat for two turns, and then applies a shield equal to 260% of its own defense for 2 turns, and also gives it to the character with the lowest current HP. Right now, this is a big defensive layering survival strat, like giving Diamond Heart and having your supports rotate with that, so that you can basically keep your team alive. Now, let's actually go to the replacement, because this is actually way lower than Artisan. Now, the cool thing is that with Artisan has a whole different thing as well. Artisan has a lower cooldown. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but Artisan has a 3-turn cooldown. Diamond Heart has a 4. Now, but when you get it to Awaken, it will drop, right? But Artisan is way faster in being able to proc. Now, the other thing is that Artisan also increases its defense by 700 for 2 turns, and then applies a shield for 350. This is only a level 20, right? Now, mind you, if I compare that to like the one that's right here, so the Diamond Heart that's maxed out at level 20, and the Artisan that's at level 20, right? You'll see that there's definitely a big difference, like 116 on the defense here, and then 181 on the defense on Artisan. So at level 20, it's already significantly better. Granted, it does cost more, right, to be able to invest into it, but you're not building up a whole bunch of Artisans. At this point, you only really need to make sure that you're filtering one, and then you're hammering down the other things, right? So like you're going to still keep one of your Diamond Hearts, but you're going to build up an Artisan. So this is one of the things that a lot of players are lacking, is they're lacking something to keep them alive in between, because you have to factor in like, okay, if we're rotating and if the boss is going to get a turn, I need to have some sort of defensive layering to be able to mitigate or to be able to take that damage. So Artisan is going to be the direct answer to that. So what we're going to actually do, because my Biotin is on a speed, let me see if we actually have a Artisan yet with speed. So yeah, we got a speed Artisan right here. We got a, oh my God, we got a, oh, I'm going to go crazy with that Artisan. We got a Swift Rush defense one here. So I'm just trying to see what other options we have. Okay, so we do have a Swift Rush one. The cool thing is that with characters like this, or with the shells, you can always just replace, right? So we're going to go for that higher Artisan. That now is going to be giving me a little bit more HP value. We're going to actually replace the, empower and imprint. Oh, actually, let me equip the one that I need to. I did this backwards. So we're going to actually replace this. We're going to do the Swift Rush, because the whole point of Biotin is we want to keep her fast. We don't want her slow. So we're going to actually empower now. We're going to imprint, take the Artisan that's level 20, and then we're going to transfer those stats over, right? All right, so there we go. So now when it comes down to our upgrade, we can actually take this Artisan up again. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to find ones that aren't actually as crazy. So Strive, Time Weave, Bloodbath with 1 speed. Yeah, we'll take that one. And that should be that. So we're going to go ahead and ascend here. Okay, so that gives us more base speed. See, oh, wow, we actually rolled the speed. We'll take it. And then now we're going to start trying to push the levels on this. Again, we're only doing this for one Artisan. We don't have to go crazy with trying to do more than one. We already did 1 DPS shell for Mythics. We're going to do one for the defensive layering, and this actually should be like more than enough for you to be able to get through content, just with the one, right? Just the one is huge. So we're gonna have that on Biotin. I would definitely say you can alternate it, like if you want it either on Biotin, or if you're going Valerian, throw it on Valerian. If you're doing a slower run, it all depends on what you're doing, but give somebody that, right? Artisan is huge for progression. So with that, what we're going to do here, we're going to actually go to our shell here. And what you can always do is you can always still empower the next shell. I think for this one, we could just replace, because I think this one is also speed and cure. Yeah, this is actually a better version. So, and I think it also has, it has a little bit more speed, which is not the worst thing. She's not going to be super fast here. Yeah, she's still fairly slow. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then we can just like finish off these last couple of levels, right? There we go. And then if we get any more Diamond Hearts along the way, which I think actually when we go into the next difficulty, which is Sharon, Sharon should be dropping Diamond Hearts, okay? So that's the, part of the game plan. Now, one last thing I want to mention before we actually get into everything else is the fact that the reset is coming to an end. Now, this is something that you definitely want to make sure you're taking advantage of, especially as you're pushing towards clearing certain things and changing out in and out certain characters. I'll definitely say like between today and tomorrow, which is going to be day 7, this is going to be the last opportunity for you to be able to do so. So I know, like, for example, I showed you guys the 6-star gray, which absolutely can work. But I would say, like, if you do get something that's going to allow you to do things more efficiently, always go ahead and reset if you can. Now, the whole like dilemma with like resetting Leon, it really all depends on if you have the characters to do so. I know some people that have gone like 400 plus pulls and still don't have a ting. And there's some people that have gone, you know, like maybe 10 pulls and they got them, right? So it all depends on what you have, what part of your progression you're at, because some things are like progressively easier to do. But if you do want to keep those characters, just understand that it might be a little bit of a slower grind and you might eventually be able to shift those things. You'll still be working on your pets. Your things will just progressively get stronger. It just won't be that on day 6, you're actually clearing Hell 4, right? You'll eventually be able to do it. I would even argue over the next few days, it would just be a matter of you hard focusing a little bit longer in certain areas. So like, for example, with my gray, we might just reset him for the fact of the matter that I didn't really like consider the fact too that I need a single target DPS. And I think if it wasn't for the fact of me having Ramoka already, I would actually be more okay with just keeping him here. But because I already have Ramoka, what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna allow him to stay at 5-star. So we're gonna still build Gray, but we're gonna actually invest in him fully a little bit later. So he'll probably be my next 6-star after we get some usage out of him. So one thing that I would suggest here is that you can take a character, if you already invested in them, farm with them, and before the reset happens, then go ahead and get your resources back. So I know for some people it's a day, some people it might be 2 days. It all depends on when you start it, but that's going to be my strategy as far as how I utilize this Animus Reconfigure, because this is really going to be something that helps you out tremendously when trying to, reconfigure where you're putting your lattices. Like even for example, on my Leon, I didn't reset her. I still put everything back in her. But what I did do was I moved her lattices because there was no need for me to max out the skill 4. And so I put all of those back into my Ramoka, right? Again, still feel like I made a solid choice with the Leon because I'm going to still be using her in like everything I can. But I definitely will say it's going to be one of those things where for some of the content later, I'll probably do it after I take you guys through the Ethernet rally, because you can do a good portion of that with Gray as well. We're probably at end of day going to be resetting Gray, and we're going to also be building up our Ting, since we need a single target unit, and it's either I build Sutomo or I build Obero. But the issue with them is not so much that they're not good, it's just that they don't universally cover more than one area. So I have to be smart in that, because that's something that's going to definitely affect progression. And so if you have a character that can cover more than one area, that's why the Marvels are good, that's why Mio is good, that's why Messiah is good, that's why Heinrich is good. That's why those characters are good, is because they can technically be slotted in more than one area because they aren't locked into a specific attribute. So I just wanted to make sure I threw that in. I had some people asking me about the reconfigure, how I was going to use it. And it's going to be like that, right? Because even when you're shifting into Hell 4, we talked about this on stream. One of the things you'll notice is that everybody's teams are going to start shifting into whoever has like Shadow Sania. It's just going to be a lot easier for you to be able to do it. And if you don't have Shadow Sania, what are you going to do? Well, you're not going to necessarily quit the game, right? You're going to probably farm Hell 3 if you can, or Hell 2, whichever one you're at, until you can respectively get the gear, maybe some more scale up investments, and then you'll be able to shift up. I would say personally though, if you can at least do Hell 3, that's still going to be a much better chance at getting some of the 3 bonus matrices than not getting them at all. And that will definitely still allow you to be able to prepare for Inferno. So that's ultimately the goal. But again, if you have to do anywhere from Hell 2 to 3 or even 4, I feel like that's a good spot to be in, especially on day 6, depending on what you might have, right? So that's that. Okay, guys, so here we are at Terramatan. We're going into the Hell 2, so I'll show you guys what that start is going to look like. And by the time we finish this, we're going to be trying to transition into Hell 3 if we can. Now, we're going to actually be running Valerian. Now, the thing is like, I wanted to try to eliminate all other variations. Like if you don't have Beobalton, if you don't have the Ting, if you don't have Heinrich, what do, right? So we're using Valerian, we're using Leon, we're using Gray, Dinah, and Freya, right? And I would say with this team, team, the main thing is we shifted the Artisan onto our Valerian. So like I said, either my Biotin or my Valerian can have it, but that's going to give us more sustain in those in-between windows where Terra Matan's going to be hitting us, right? So let's actually speed this up so they can do all their buffs. Always still targeting the left arm as well. And the Artisan is going to actually activate the second turn. It's not going to activate the first. Now, the thing about Freya, and the reason why I like Freya so much here is because she still is going to be giving us movement because debuffs and buffs apply, right? So look at that, right? So that's Gray's damage. I want to slow this down so you can see Leon's damage. Look at that. Boom, 55k. Her pet's going to finish that. Now, in reality, she can technically hit like 65 if I had her pair it with like Biotin. That death prevents. We reset it. Let's speed that back up. And then for this arm, we get rid of it. And now we go straight into attacking the main body. Look at that. Right? And then look at where our HP is. Everybody's back up. So really, we just took advantage of like the Artisan. We took advantage of really, honestly, everything that really is a part of the workup. So this is just for, you know, the second difficulty. So Hell 3, you know, we're like only going to progressively get better at it, right? And this isn't like I went and just leveled up a whole bunch of new units and like skilled them up. These are like the same units we showcased in like yesterday's video, right? All we did was take Gray to 6-star so you could do a little bit more damage. Boom. And then Gray's actually going to come in and kill. It's a minute and 17-second clear with a Dinah, Gray, and a Leon, like, right? So the damage is definitely there, right? And so that's Hell 2. I can auto Hell 2 like that. And that's with a little bit less sustain or a little bit more sustain. Okay, guys, so I went and I skipped ahead. We hit level 40 finally. So the Animus Fate, we completed that mission and we got the reconfig chips from that. And then, of course, under the Shell Tuning 2, we just now need to clear Nightmare Sharon 1 and then Nightmare Sharon or higher difficulty 10 times. So we're doing Sharon first so that we can actually have that autoing in the background while we go into the next content that doesn't require any stamina at all, right? For module modifications, again, Nightmare Aurora, we have Mythic for the Time Weave. So we got to farm that. And then we have to clear Innocent Born. And we also have to equip SSR Animus with level 12 modules. So it's a little bit that you got to do. And things are going to start slowing a little bit, but that's fine because you're at the point at which now we're not going to be using crystals, especially if you're free to play, to do refills, right? So that's really, really important. You've unlocked all of the stamina exempt content at this point, right? So we're going to go ahead and dive into Nightmare first. And again, the goal is that you're clearing Nightmare. And if you need to farm up Nightmare, farm Nightmare, and then shift into the Hell mode, right? Now, we're going to actually be bringing Freya. Now, I would say, like, for what it's worth, this boss, what you're dealing with is Dot. And you're also not able to deal Dot to this boss. So the main thing is being able to purify that Dot. Rotating pushback helps out here a lot as well. And of course, if you have characters like Leon, you got Chloros, like whoever can nuke her, GG, right? Like that's really what it's worth. But Freya is who is going to be our manipulation here. And the nice thing about her is that she's also with the Dreamweave, she's going to be able to help us essentially dispel as well. So that's why we really like hers here. So we got Gray doing some damage. Leon should give us that pushback. And then like right after this, we get the Dreamweave. So she didn't land any Dot there, which is huge. And so look at that. The fight's already over, like basically. And because we also have like the movement going on, it just makes it much easier for us to be able to rotate. And I think here we should be able to clean up. Boom, Gray. Boom. I think she gets her skill 3 here. Oh, no, she doesn't. Okay. We just got one more turn. And Leon should be able to finish this. So GG. All right. Yeah. So 56 seconds. That gives us our first copy of Supernova. And Supernova is going to have a heal over time. The other thing that's going to be nice about here, like, look at that. We have Diamond Heart. So Diamond Heart and her respective pairing shells from the previous dungeon, which was If I'm not mistaken, I think that was Whitney, maybe? No, it wasn't Whitney. It was Phoebian, sorry. It was Phoebian. You're going to be able to get Diamond Heart from this dungeon now because you couldn't get it from Nico Nana. And Diamond Heart, for what it's worth, for those that are still like investing and building her up, it's still going to be pretty solid. Like, see, you can only get Twilight Knight and Black Flag here. And Sharon, you're actually going to be able to get all the new ones here. And then you'll also be able to get Diamond Heart and Shahajin, right? So that's basically the entirety of the fight. Now, for here, what we might actually do, we're probably going to go with a little bit less damage, but more pushback. So we're going to go with, I'll say maybe Marvell is actually going to be pretty good here because he does debuff. And he has the silence, so that's gonna all be like pushback basically. So yeah, we'll keep the Freya, go Dinah, and our solo damage will be Leon. So let's go ahead and let's get into Hell. All right, she gets off her move here, gets some dot. And the most important thing is we rotate Freya so we can get that skill 2 going. Got some pretty good pushback there. All right. And then we're already at about half health. Now, I say here we could also run Valerian, just in case if we need a little extra sustain. But remember, the damage is all HP %, so it's kind of rough for those units. Now, one thing that's actually going to help you out a lot with this is actually going to be, what's his name? Moon, because Moon is going to be able to extend your debuffs. So yeah, we're getting clapped pretty hard here now. I think we're going to do enough damage. Yeah, like we don't. Okay, so we're going to end it. All right, so let's do that. Now, as far as hell mode goes, we're going to actually hold off because what I usually do, and this is always my biggest recommendation, make sure you guys farm the one before. It is dropping specifically the thing that's going to be able to help you the most in the next one. And it's not just Supernova, it's actually Moon, okay? So Moon is going to be pretty massive. This is also going to be the pet that we need to grab as well for one of our damage ampers. That's going to help us out tremendously with being able to extend our debuffs. So that, I'll show you guys exactly why we're picking this up in a second. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and put this on auto because we can do this 10 out of 10. So yeah, this is actually going to be pretty massive. So I think for what it's worth, we'll keep the gray. Teams seem to work fairly well. We're going to go open here. Wave 1, Sharon. Okay, cool. So now we're going to put this on auto. We're going to let that farm in the background. All right. So now we can actually shift over to the EtherNet rally. Let's actually claim our resources really quick, though. Now we're going to have that farming in the back, and then that's going to be more resources. So guys, this is how I've been doing it. You guys have been asking how I've been getting more lattice and all of the resources for 6-starring, how I'm on my 3rd 6-star. You haven't gotten any shadow prints. I haven't bought any shadow prints with money. Like, guys, it's all just pushing content, right? So we got the Ethernet rally open. Main thing with the Ethernet rally, guys, is that the Ethernet rally is a attribute exclusive piece of content. I have entire videos that actually break down this content by itself. So I'll probably have it linked down below. But for what it's worth, I'll just briefly explain it. Now, essentially, you have basically sub bosses that intertwine or connect the areas. And then you have, of course, in the center here, a main boss. Now, the main gimmick with this fight is that you basically are going, or this content, you're going to be able to make 3 different teams for all 3 areas, right? And each of the teams are going to have attributes that are locked into each of those areas. And you can't make teams outside of that. So like, for example, here you see we can only use hollow attribute, and we can only use constant attribute units. So this is why you want to have multiple units built up if you can help it, because it's just going to make your process easier. So we're going to go ahead, slot Freya, go here, Ramoka. Oh, we can do 5 here. So yeah, I forgot about that. So we'll go Marvell, right? So as long as you have units within that attribute, you'll be good. But if you don't, there are going to be some things I'll show you guys as we go through it that you can actually use to pick up. You might have to target focus those first so you can make it easier for yourself against the boss. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to make sure you have options for this. Boom, there we go. All right, so we cleared that. It kind of forces you to do it. All right, so you see here you have this basic hub. You're basically going to be claiming these supply boxes. And these supply boxes can be evolved. So, or it actually can be added to. It's a lot of different things you can do with them, but we'll go through that, right? But you'll see here, it's going to allow you to collect the fragments for the enhanced prototype, which this is actually a ticket for a SR through SSR, right? So this is another thing that's really important about this content. Now, of course, if we look here at the revamp, this is where it's going to be sitting. And every so often, you're going to actually have the ability to either add or swap out. There's other resource boxes as well. So we're going to just go through it, right? Now, we set our team for Cantovia. Now, for the Shin Metropolis, the attribute here is Reason Hollow and, Reason Constant and Disorder. So for this, we have our Leon to help us out with this. We can like preset our teams if we want. We can go with Dinah. We could throw in a Disorder unit too. But along the way, you're going to be able to collect some other units. So we'll just slot these guys in for right now. And we could go for like a rotator that's like pretty fast. But I got to make another set for my Mio because her and Freya share gear. So we'll just go with that for right now. I think that should be okay in some of these earlier stages. And then for Loralisk, it is only odd and Disorder. So I don't have a lot of these. I have like almost none built up. So that's actually what we're going to be building up today. So a lot of people were asking like, why are you so concerned with trying to build up an odd attribute? Because you need them, right? But you don't have to worry about this area just yet. We're just going to worry about this side and then we'll come back, right? So again, you have the converge point. So we'll go into here. And so that's the thing. Like you want to make sure that you have some options, something, a DPS, supports. That's why I like building Kraken. Like certain units you're still going to want to build, even if you're not full building them. That doesn't mean you necessarily have to scale them up. They'll allow you to be able to get through that content. And the nice thing is too, is that outside of this initial entry, you'll have time to normally clear it. So you don't have to necessarily rush, right? So that's the main thing. But yeah, for the most part, we're just trying to make sure we clear this first side, right? And then what we can do, we can always shift gears. So that's something that you can take advantage of. Now we have a supply box here, which we can claim. And then that supply box is going to give you different things. Etheria coin, you'll be able to get, shadow prints and all different types of stuff. So see, you can get Hydra crystals, EXP, you can get GP outposts. None of this requires stamina. This is all just go in here, fight it, and you get rewarded, right? So let's go to this unique point. The unique point will give you a combination of stamina. It'll also give you, and this is why I said this constant is important because it actually gives you more stamina. It'll give you anima prototypes. It'll also give you reconfig chips, and then of course more Etheria coins. So let's go ahead and let's kill this elite researcher. All right, and we should be able to nuke this pretty quickly because we got that Remoka Gaming. But again, I'm still using gray here. So yeah, for the other team, we can either go with a dark unit or a water unit. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I might do Heinrich, to be honest. Boom, boom. It's pretty good nuke. All right, silence. There we go. And gray should, somebody's gonna finish here. I think Remoka finishes. Yep, there we go. Skill 3 again. Boom. All right, there we go. So now we go into the very next thing. All right, so there's one thing that you can do here, the collapse point. The collapse point needs to actually be cleared by 2 of the teams in a given area. So you'll see here that we need a team for our Loralisk, which is currently locked because we haven't started clearing that area yet. But you can do the first team, which will be one of the unlock requirements, which is fighting this Tsukiyomi with this team comp, right? So let's go ahead and do it, right? So we'll go ahead and I don't think we really need to take it off of auto. All right, and then we're gonna actually target. We'll see who's the weak link here after gray hits. I think it might actually be the Obero. Yeah, I think it's going to be the Obero. Oh, no, it's going to be the Sybil. So we're going to go hit that Sybil. All right, there we go. I just needed to slow it down so I could tell. All right, there we go. Yeah, so they all got to use their skill 3s outside of like Tsuki. She gives them an attack speed up buff. And she's going to be the tankiest person here because she scales off of defense. But yeah, you basically got to come up with teams so that you can clear all of these, right? And don't fret if you're not able to do it right now because you'll be able to. You just hit level 40. You're going to diversify your account a little bit more. And this is why I say, like, you use PvE to fuel PvP. You know, you can try to fixate on PvP and you'll be able to climb it much earlier. But there's just going to be some areas where you're going to definitely diminish in your progression, especially if you're free to play. Like, it's really going to give you a ton of resources to be able to, like, push, right? So right there, we got 50 Hydra Crystals for that first side. And then when you clear a side, you'll see it turns blue. It went from red to blue, right? So we got 1 out of 2. Now, from here, there's also something called a fusion point. Now, the fusion point is actually pretty important because this will allow you to pick up something that you may not have on your account. This also is going to give you a character called a Shadow Walker, which basically is going to allow you to be able to fill in a slot in your team comp, right? So because I have Dinah and I already have Valerian, the choice here is going to be Fangus, right? Because then if I say, for example, didn't have anybody for my Shin team, I could actually throw him in there. And it's basically going to be the same thing all the way around, right? So you're going to be doing that, going to the converge points, opening up the supply boxes. You're also going to be collecting the basic hub stuff. And then you'll also then be able to collect the unique stuff, gain more units, which is random. But you should be able to gain units like Messiah. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can gain along the way. But because these areas are connected, you just want to make sure that you're aware of that and you go through and you clear those things when you need to. So for this side, like I said, I got to actually build something up and then we'll be good to go. And keep in mind, day 7, if you are stuck with anything, and this is because you don't have a healer, we get Ling Lao on day 7. So she's going to actually help out with the lore list side, right? So that's basically that. I'm going to actually work on some more of this and then we're going to get to some of the major points and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so we're at one of the next points where Shin Metropolis and Kanto Via actually meet, this collapse point right here with the Ramoka. Now, it's important that you clear this, obviously, because that's the only way you can get to the next connecting points to get more resources. So we have 2 teams that are actually going to be able to do this. I figure we might as well just go through them just in case if people are trying to figure out what you could do to maybe get through them. And there's a lot of different variations based in, you know, that whatever attribute stuff you got, but all right, let's see here. All right, so looks like we're faster altogether than this team. If you had any like sort of push back or push forward, that would help out tremendously too. So yeah, we're just going for the cleave. All right, let's see. We're gonna go. I don't know who my weakest is, but I'm almost certain. I think we should be okay. We're just gonna go with the HP equalize. And then we'll try to put some hits into Ramoka, and that's GG. It actually gave me way more hits than I thought I was gonna get. But also running Harvest on my Leon lets her hit way harder than she would if she was just on attack. But at this point, it makes sense because I have enough attack to make my Harvest set make more sense. So we got this dot, which we should be okay either way. Because the thing that's cool about understanding like dot and shield, dot has to damage into shield. So it actually ends up always kind of being nice to have that extra layer because it has to damage into it first before it can touch HP. All right. And then easy enough. Boom, boom, boom. I think my other team is actually going to be even faster than this. Boom. There we go. So Leon, hard carry for the damage and GG, right? Now the next team we have to do for the Shin area, which is the for Kanto Via. The other thing is too is like you can alternate or swap units out. If you need to swap someone in, you have the Shadow Walkers, which we have Sania and Chiaki the Echo. But I don't think we need either one of those, so we should actually just be good to go. And it's literally the exact same fight. It's just now you're doing it with a whole different attribute, so you aren't necessarily using the same exact strat. All depends on what you have though. So I like, because of constant, Marvel's investment is pretty huge because I can use him in both teams. There we go. We stunned the Ramoka, which is like kind of the big thing here. And then we got the silence on the poison dude. So yeah, we're cooking. And then Ramoka S2's here, I think. Or my Ramoka should. Boom. There we go. GG. Yeah, so as long as the Ramoka goes, then you're basically set on that fight. Now, these are like some of the smaller mid bosses. There's going to be like some, what I would call like almost, they're just bosses, right? Like, because there's the main boss and then there's bosses, mid bosses. The other bosses are like actual like fights that you would have, like the Kururu and stuff like that. Those are a little bit different. You might get stuck on those depending on the boss. So, all right, let's see here. And boom, 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 clap. All right, cool. So we got 30 more stamina from that and some Hydra crystals. And that now allows us to actually go into the next area. But first, it's actually going through like how exactly this, the supply, like card reader goes. Basically what you can do, you have different things that you can earn. So I can say like, okay, with the shadow print crate, I can add more crates that give me shadow prints, right? With this advanced ascend one, it basically will upgrade the current crates that are in here. So like, for example, it increased that shard wise, right? So like, that's basically that. Now the advanced crate is also like something that, something you would probably pick when you have more crates in here. So that's kind of that. And then, of course, you have the enhanced prototype. So the enhanced prototype just gives you more of these crates right here. So there's a lot of different cards that you're going to come across along the way. You're basically going to pick up the ones that you need the most. I would say what typically I go for, things like shadow prints, things like the crystal lattice are like always some really good go-tos, because everything else I can basically farm. And then I would say like the enhanced prototype would be like another one, but there's also other resources you can get. So just keep an eye out. But we're going to go for the shadow print cluster because we want to add more to here. So we're going to go ahead and confirm. And they gave us one purple, 2 blues, but these can be evolved. So that is that, right? And that's basically the reward for beating that. So you get a reward chance of being able to buff that every single time you clear one of those bosses. So we have the supply zone boxes. So we're going to claim both of those. And now we're on the trail to the next area. And we're going to be able to get to the first boss here, which is going to be Kururu. All right, so let me actually go ahead and get to it, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, so we're at one of the next points where Shin Metropolis and Kanto Via actually meet, this collapse point right here with the Ramoka. Now, it's important that you clear this, obviously, because that's the only way you can get to the next connecting points to get more resources. So we have 2 teams that are actually going to be able to do this. I figured we might as well just go through them just in case if people were trying to figure out what you could do to maybe get through them. And there's a lot of different variations based in, you know, that whatever attribute stuff you got. But all right, let's see here. All right, so looks like we're faster altogether than this team. If you had any like sort of pushback or push forward, that would help out tremendously too. So yeah, we're just going for the cleave. All right, let's see. We're gonna go. I don't know who my weakest is, but I'm almost certain. I think we should be okay. We're just gonna go with the HP equalize. And then we'll try to put some hits into Ramoka, and that's GG. It actually gave me way more hits than I thought I was gonna get. But also running Harvest on my Leon lets her hit way harder than she would if she was just on attack. But at this point, it makes sense because I have enough attack to make my harvest set make more sense. So we got this dot, which we should be okay either way. Because the thing that's cool about understanding like dot and shield, dot has to damage into shield. So it actually ends up always kind of being nice to have that extra layer because it has to damage into it first before it can touch HP. All right, and then easy enough. Boom, boom, boom. I think my other team is actually going to be even faster than this. Boom, there we go. So Leon, hard carry for the damage, and GG, right? Now the next team we have to do for the Shin area, which is the for Cantovia. The other thing is too is like you can alternate or swap units out. If you need to swap someone in, you have the Shadow Walkers, which we have Sania and Chiaki the Echo. But I don't think we need either one of those, so we should actually just be good to go. And it's literally the exact same fight. It's just now you're doing it with a whole different attribute, so you aren't necessarily using the same exact strat. All depends on what you have though. So I like, because of constant, Marvel's investment is pretty huge because I can use them in both teams. There we go. We stunned the Ramoka, which is like kind of the big thing here. And then we got the silence on the poison dude. So yeah, we're cooking. And then Ramoka S2's here, I think. Or my Ramoka should. Boom. There we go. GG. Yeah, so as long as the Ramoka goes, then you're basically set on that fight. Now, these are like some of the smaller mid bosses. There's going to be like some, what I would call like almost, they're just bosses, right? Like, because there's the main boss and then there's bosses, mid bosses. The other bosses are like actual like fights that you would have, like the Kururu and stuff like that. Those are a little bit different. You might get stuck on those depending on the boss. So, all right, let's see here. And boom, 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 clap. All right, cool. So we got 30 more stamina from that and some Hydra crystals. And that now allows us to actually go into the next area. But first, it's actually going through like how exactly this, the supply, like card reader goes. Basically what you can do, you have different things that you can earn. So I can say like, okay, with the shadow print crate, I can add more crates that give me shadow prints, right? With this advanced ascend one, it basically will upgrade the current crates that are in here. So like, for example, it increased that shard wise, right? So like, that's basically that. Now the advanced crate is also like something that, something you would probably pick when you have more crates in here. So that's kind of that. And then, of course, you have the enhanced prototype. So the enhanced prototype just gives you more of these crates right here. So there's a lot of different cards that you're going to come across along the way. You're basically going to pick up the ones that you need the most. I would say what typically I go for, things like shadow prints, things like the crystal lattice are like always some really good go-tos, because everything else I can basically farm. And then I'd say like the enhanced prototype would be like another one, but there's also other resources you can get. So just keep an eye out. But we're going to go for the shadow print cluster because we want to add more to here. So we're going to go ahead and confirm. And they gave us one purple, 2 blues, but these can be evolved. So that is that, right? And that's basically the reward for beating that. So you get a reward chance of being able to buff that every single time you clear one of those bosses. So we have the supply zone boxes. So we're going to claim both of those. And now we're on the trail to the next area. And we're going to be able to get to the first boss here, which is going to be Kururu. All right, so let me actually go ahead and get to it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to talk about this side as I was going through it. The lore list, like I said, on this account, we don't have a ton of odd or disorder units built. What is the solution here? what you can do, and what I usually do, and this is why I, like I said, develop just getting used to using the sharing gear system. And that's because you're going to have these types of scenarios. So now that I know that I'm not using my units that are currently on that attribute, at least for the point of which where I need to go through some of those initial nodes to pick up some of the extra characters, I'm going to actually use some of the gear on some of my other characters. So let's actually make sure they're saved really quick. So we got one pre-saved already for Ramoka. So we're gonna just make sure we save every plan we have so we don't have to re-gear. All right, and then we're gonna go to our Shieda, and we're gonna actually gear Shieda's or put Ramoka's gear on Shieda temporarily. And then from here, let me think of a team comp. Let's say Kraken, right? We know we're not using Marvel because this is disorder. So we can take the gear that is currently on my Marvel. I think this is all his gear. And we're going to actually, it's mix Kazio. Okay, so let's mix Kazio the Revere. So what we'll do is we'll save another loadout. So we'll save this plan. And we'll call it Marvel. Which I think actually, hold on, let me just make sure I didn't have a Marvel already. I thought I did. Okay, no, I don't. All right, so yeah, we're gonna just create a Marvel one, right? Just so I know this specific set and build goes back on him, but I'll change him and give him his own stuff later. We're gonna find Kraken here. And we're gonna use Kraken at 3 stars. We're gonna give him Marvel's gear, confirm. He has more than enough speed, more than enough HP to be usable. We're not going to go crazy trying to skill up. So we ended up for one of the other sides, we picked up the Shadow Walker Ling Lao. So we have a healer, we have pushback, and we have damage. Now, I would say we can keep building up more units from this attribute. We're going to actually take time to throw some stuff onto Tiamat. Tiamat already has some gear that I can just like literally just slot fill with. Let me see if I have anything that I can just throw on her for right now. It's +9. That's affect accuracy. I don't see any other bulky stuff, so we'll just go for HP. And let's see. We put some on the Kraken. We just really take any piece at this point. We're not even gonna go super crazy. We're just gonna +9 it, right? Because this isn't even gear we're keeping. These are just place fillers. So yeah, we're just going full send HP. We need to give Tiamat a shell, right? And if you don't have, like again, this could be any units that you have on your account of that respective attribute. You're just slapping some stuff on them so that they're usable. I would say, I'm trying to think who we're not using here. Beotin, I think, is going to be on the other side. Oh, we got a Diamond Heart. There we go. So let's just throw that on. Cool. So that helped with some sustain. And let's actually take a look real quick at the team. So we have Shieda. We have Tiamat. We got ourselves a Kraken here. And then we could throw Viper in there. I think I got some gear for him, but we're going to go to the Shadow Walker, put Ling Lao on. So that gives us, as of right now, that gives us 4 units. We literally just need one more. I might actually place Obero because I do have some gear on her. So we're going to go with Obero. And all I'm going to do, and I know you guys are like in the stream the other day, like, wait, why does he keep harping about Obero? It's because I knew I had to build this, I had to do this specific team. Now, if you got Dating, you can obviously go Dating. We're going to go ahead and load that crit rate piece on her though. And then as far as the shell goes, boom. We're using, I don't think we're using gray right now, but I'm gonna take the Crossroads and just give that to her for right now because we're not using Hellkit at all. So there we go. Okay, so now we have ourselves a team that can actually start this. And we're just gonna replace all those units. Boom, boom. Where you at? No, Tiamat. Obero, Shieda, Kraken, and then Ling Lao. Now the cool thing is that when we go into this, we're actually going to have a lot of the same base values because our pets and gear, some of those pieces are already invested, especially having some of the pets and stuff. So you can see Kraken's still going to go first, push back, right? This isn't even leveled. This team's not even leveled, right? And then we're just gonna go out here and nuke, right? And we're just gonna build up on that. We'll save the heal. I mean, we'll actually let this auto. This is not gonna do anything. And so because we have Ling Lao is gonna be able to work up against that that dot. And again, it's not going to be the fastest clearing, but it's going to be able to clear, and we don't have to like overinvest. Shiada's going to ramp though, so she's going to start hitting really hard in a second. And that's because she's using my Romoka's gear, so she's going to be pretty good. So yeah, it's not as fast as obviously my other teams, but it's causing me not to have to level up more gear. Like, look at that. Now we're getting the nukes because we're getting the ramps. And perfect team comp for Shiada is definitely being paired with like a Ling Lao because she buffs all the time. And then once we get better gear on Obero, then it's going to be GG. But yeah, you see we got the shield, we got the heals, Tiamat's getting fueled as well. There we go. All right, so we're almost done. And again, this is just kind of like a hand-me-down team. Kraken is 3-star, by the way, too. So there we go. So that's not too bad considering minimal investment. Shiada's still 5-star. No one on this team is actually really built. Tiamat's 4-star. They're still going to be able to get you through these stages. Nice. That was good attack buff from the pet. And there we go, right? So it took a minute 45, but who cares? We got the clear. And the goal is that we're trying to work our way around so that we can actually get to select another character here, because then that's more than likely going to be another character that we can actually throw in from the Shadow Walkers that's going to be able to help us. So that's the goal, right? So I'm going to go ahead and push some more. I just wanted to make sure I threw that in there for you guys. Okay, guys, so here we are at the next boss. We were able to pick up a Heinrich Shadow Walker. So that's what we're going to be slotting in for our lowerless team. Now, again, same thing for our Shin Metropolis. We took the gear off of my Marvel and put it on my Kraken. So just to make the teams just function as is, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in with what we got. And let's see how it goes. So this is a Chloros fight. Let's see here. All right, so Chloros is gonna go next. He's gonna ult. We're chilling though. He has the Doom Toll, so they're just gonna be trying to multi-hit us. But we're still gonna be working on our cleave. Okay, cool. Give us a little bit of pushback there. We should be able to strip with our Heinrich turn as well. So yeah, this isn't like too crazy, but the Heinrich is actually pretty well built. He can actually do some damage too. So he like dispelled like a ton of those buffs. So he's gonna work immaculately in the next fight too, because we actually have Kraken on my Marvel gear. He's pretty fast, so he'll be like right up in the front. There we go. All right, so we got rid of the like entire threat of the fight, and that's that, right? So as you can see, it's doable. You just have to be aware of like what you can do. Again, I still like the fact that I have my Leon. Like if you have the Messiah, for sure Messiah can work to help you AoE cleave this. But if you don't have Messiah, the Leon is actually going to be a really, really good choice here. You have the Ting. The Ting can also work in this team. Just all really depends. But for the Kururu, you can't just one-shot that. You have to actually take out the ads in enough time. So that's where Leon is going to really shine. She's definitely going to shine there, especially on the right team with giving her the defense breaks and all that jazz. So if you have the manipulation with it, it can work. But honestly, the AoE cleave is just going to make it way easier. All right, so there we go. I think this is the last part. Boom, there we go. All right, so we got a Animus summon. We got some EXP for doing that too. All right, so cool. So we already did that one part. Let's check on the other one. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was geared. So let's do the second team as well. And the second team, it should be a little bit slower in damage. I mean, with the Heinrich, it's actually going to make it a little bit faster. But we will have at least some CC, some lockdown, a little bit faster than me here. So we just got to survive long enough so that our Ling Lao can get a turn. And we just kind of deal with all of those debuffs. There we go. Boom. So good pushback. We got some CCs going. Here we can actually auto. I don't know why I took it off. Boom. And we just got to literally ramp. Good heals from Ling Lao. And we got our strip. The spell again from the Heinrich. And so this is a little bit of a slower work down, but the team will still be able to kind of keep up. As long as we keep that Chloros on lock, we should be okay. I wish I had more invested in my Tiamat because she'd be doing so much more right now. And she's not like hard to build. I just don't have any other HP pieces leveled right now outside of my Valerian. And I ain't leveled none until I get some of the new modules that I want. And then we'll do our little hand-me-down thing. All right, so he went after the Tia, which is great because she's all the bulk right now. Trying to keep that Heinrich alive. They do not want him to live. Oof. Ah, they got our Heinrich. That was not okay. All right, we'll reset it. And it's okay, guys. Like, I mean, it happens. You just run it back. Let's see who he hits here. He always, it looks like he's going to just target Heinrich. I think just because his HP threshold's so low. But that also means that the enemies are going to go and hit Heinrich as well. Because he has the Doom Toll on him. So the AI is pretty smart or pretty aware of that too. So... boom. Yeah, they're pretty aware because they want him to be able to ult. All right, sweet. So they're all focused on between the Tiamat and him. Actually, the AI is not targeting Heinrich nearly as much as they should be. But hey, we'll take it. All right, Shieda. And we're just basically building up to Kraken being able to use his skill 3 again. Ooh, he gets hit there. Yeah, that's why him being proc with the Doom Toll kind of sucks, because it's like, dude, like, yeah, that sucks. We might be able to do it without Heinrich. I probably didn't need him, to be honest. I might not. He was just nice to have the for that strip. So it removed all their buffs. Let's see who hits here. Ooh, he goes after my Shieda. And if we lose Shieda, we basically lose the fight. Good pushback. That was a good lockdown. Ooh, Fangus. Ooh, we need Ling Lao to heal. Skill 3, thank you. Oh no, skill 2. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take some. We'll take some. Chloral CC is great. I'm going for a buff there. Taunt, nice. Yeah, so Tia's still doing her thing, man. And this is considering I'm using a hand-me-down team, so it ain't really much I could do. I think Ling Lao skill 3's here, so that was perfect. All right, now we got a fully ramped Shieda, so every time she rotates, we're gonna be seeing some strong damage from her. That's all we needed to do was get her to ramp. And it just takes a little bit. Ooh, good Chloros hit. Let's see if we can keep her alive. Ooh, it's gonna be so rough. Ah, we were like right at the end. Tia might be able to carry this though. Yeah, they went for my Heinrich and my Shieda at the same time. It makes sense though. I would do the same thing. See, here it would be perfect to have like a Sania on the team. That would be perfect. But I think we can actually beat this with Tiamat. I'm almost certain we can. The only thing we got to get rid of is that Chloros. And as long as we can keep cracking him down with the lockdown, then we should be okay. We can get S2 soon. Yes, go. There we go with the taunt. We'll take that. Oh, yeah. Tiamat's crazy, even when she's not even, she's kind of nerfed, which is crazy. Give her a little bit of heals. She still be doing stuff. Yep, there's a heal. Close is gonna hit hard. Okay, that actually wasn't as hard as I thought he was gonna hit. Nice crack and pushback. Lock. Ooh, that's GG. So there you go. So it's doable, even with the super, super low investment. Tia carry is crazy. Yeah, it's so funny to me. Because the main thing is too is like Tia's damage doesn't really change, and this is considering, again, like I said, I keep harping on the fact we don't have the proper gear on her for her to really shine right now. But for what it's worth, that Doom Toll does absolutely nothing because Chloros is gone, and so now it's just a matter of finishing off the fight, and we should be good. Yeah, CC lockdown. Yeah, we would have lost, if we would have lost Tia, that would have been GG. So there we go. Bang. That took 4 minutes and 43 seconds, but hey, it was doable. We were able to do it. All right, so cool. Now, as you guys can see, that's why I want to let this continue, because you can see the next card choices. And just kind of running you guys through this. So we have the crystal grid where we can actually get some more shards for the lattice. That's a pretty big one. You have the basic one, which is random. It's randomly giving you 5 low tier crates. And you have the basic ascension, which will basically upgrade basic crates ×3. That's something that you can go for, but because we do have a few more areas and I like to have the lattice, you can get quite a bit from here. I'm going to go ahead and get those, right? So look at that. That's 2 shards here, 2 shards here, 1 shard here, and another shard here. And this is all just in sight of the fact that you also gain these shards from your union. So we're just trying to speed up getting our next lattice, right? So that's it, right? So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then we get 2 reward boxes from that, like we did on the other side. And the nice thing is that we can continue over here, and we have another, I think it's going to be another character somewhere. I don't know where it's at. I think there might be one more. Oh, it's on this side. So yeah, we just need to go over here and we can get one more character pick. And that's going to basically be our next character to help us out. It actually probably would have made the other fight easier, but I completely like overlooked it. So we're going to go finish that. We're going to get all these kind of close to each other, and we'll be back for some of the final portion pushes. So we'll be back. Okay, guys, so we were able to rotate around. We're going to actually swap in one of the other Shadow Walkers we were able to pick up, which was Kachi the Guard. I actually want to show him off a little bit because I know there's some people that are wondering, like, where do you actually use Kachi the Guard? Like, how can he be used? And so some scenarios like this, I mean, there's other scenarios he works, but man, this is going to be a clutch character. You guys will see in a second. All right, so let's do that. All right, so they're going all in right now. We just got to get to our Kraken's turn. He'll get the pushback, and we should be able to cook from there. Yeah, look, they're trying to finish my Tiamat, but that's okay. Got some CC freezes. We got that defense up. And the other thing that Kachi can provide too is like immunity coverage. So look at that. Ramp that Tiamat so fast. He can action delay. So action delay is pretty nice as well. Give us a chance to get some of our units to rotate. Go ahead and heal my boy Kraken. Thank you. And he's super tanky too, so it would be crazy if he had a taunt. Let's see if the game will allow me without my Kraken to be able to get a to ramp here. Yeah, the Tia kind of hard carries this low key. And as long as we can keep Shieda alive, we'll be able to do more damage throughout the duration of the fight. We just don't have to push back, which is okay. We should be able to manage. All right, so Tia should go into her taunt this turn. Let's see, nice. Good action delay. Look at the pushback. Freaking Kachi is like pretty nuts. There we go. Taunt. We'll take as many taunts as we can straight into the Tia, because all that's gonna do is make her transform again and do that. Look at the, like, dude, I'm telling you, it's so many ways you can play this game. It's just it's good. Like, it's funny. All right. Yeah, looks like they're trying to Shiada me out of here, but that's all right. Got our next nuke and kill. So that was really, really good. I think we can eat that. Ling Lao should go skill 3. So we heal back up. And we're cooking now, because now Shiada just only is going to skill 3. That should be GG to this fight, actually. Yeah, Tiamat holding it down at 4 stars, man. That's so crazy. Like, she's actually really insane. All right, let's see. Boom, dead. All right. And so all we did here simply was just outlive. So even with the weakest of the weakest, and that's why I wanted to have this in here, is like, even with the weakest of the weakest, the gear and the shell investment that you made prior to is going to help you out with being able to get through some of this, right? So we cleared that side, and once again, we completely unlock this. We have another thing that we can actually pick here, so we can go full volume, which gives us a random cargo box ×3. We have the random mid-tier crates, and then we also have the diamond. So it randomly 3 random crates into crystal diamond crates. So that's not really something we want. Because like, these are lattice, these are the crystal diamonds. So just to differentiate, I think we might take the random cargo box, because we could get 3 random mid-tier, but we could also go for the random cargo boxes too. And it could be any rarity. So if we at least get 1 that's higher in rarity, that could be good. But we could also just settle and get 3 mid-tier. So I think that getting the 3 mid-tier is just pretty safe. You know exactly what you're gonna get. So yeah, we'll take that. Yeah, that works. So we can confirm that. And then now we can move around into the next area. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us wrapped around up to these bosses, and then we should be good to go. Okay, guys, so here we are. We actually cleared all of the outer rim. Now, the funny thing is, if I didn't mention it, this is just all for the outer link section, right? The interlink section is where it really gets crazy, but this is going to be the first crossroad into getting to that point, right? So we're going to start out with Shadowrunner. We're going to go with our Cantovia team first, because we actually need to swap gear afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so we're just fighting a scaled version of Shadowrunner. Same thing though, gimmick wise. All right, Chiaki. Now something we could maybe also bring here too. Well, in the other team, we're gonna use the immunity coverage, because this boss dots. I don't know how much HP the ads on the side have here. I just want to see. Yeah, that's nukeable. That's definitely nukeable for the damage share. Or the splash damage. Alright. So this one's not nearly as bad. I feel like out of the 3, Kururu is definitely the hardest one. And this is why, like, having Gray, the Ramoka combo, they go kind of crazy. There we go, that's one. We're just trying to make things a little bit easier for ourselves. Nice, crit rate buff. Into a skill 3. All right, so we no longer have to worry about the arms. And we can just focus the body. So yeah, Shadowrunner is pretty straightforward. Kuru is also not bad. You just have to have the damage to cleave. Like, that's really all that fight requires. Now, keep in mind, the reason why this is a challenge, though, is because you don't necessarily... you'll definitely be able to have one team that goes, like, really crazy. But you got to do this with two different teams. So both teams don't necessarily excel based off of investment, right? So you might have a team that's like super cracked and does this super easy, but then the other team isn't able to do it. So that's the only way that you'll be able to advance to the next portion or next part of the map, is actually being able to get past this point. Okay. We got those five, and dude, 5 stacks of dot is crazy. And this is another reason why, like, just skipping Freya, I think is a bad idea. She literally can help purify those. If she has her Dreamweave buff up, she just removes that. And it's not even 5 stacks of dot, it's 5 turn duration dot, which is crazier. All right, so there we go. So we beat that, like, pretty simply with that team. Okay, guys, so we're back. I actually go run some errands real quick, but we actually had some stuff finished grinding in the background, so we can actually alternate in our single target damage. Now, again, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. You have some time to clear this event, so you don't have to rush this, right? But we're gonna actually take out our Shira. We actually got the Ting built up, and to answer the question, I know somebody's gonna ask it, is your Leon still 6-star? Yes, she is, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. All right. Now, the thing, of course, that makes this easier, having any sort of single target damage, I would definitely say Obero would be another good decision. But like I said before, it just all is relative to what makes the most sense on your account. If you have something that's going to universally clear something, you clear or you invest in that thing that can universally help you with stuff, right? So right now, I'm trying to think if we want to go for the ads on the side or the main body. Let's actually see. Yeah, we're gonna go for the ads on the side first. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the ads on the side. So let's go for the CC pushback. Boom. Yeah, because once we deal with that, the fight is basically a cakewalk. All right, let's see. We'll get rid of the one that we marked. All right. And we actually can auto this now. I'm looking at it. Nice. We got a double taunt. So everything going right into my Tiamat. Oh, she got nuked. I didn't think she was going to get killed that fast, though. That was before I could even heal. All right, cool. We still should be able to do this because we do have our single target nuke now. Goodbye. All right, we'll get rid of this one over here. We should be able to get a heal going. Okay, yeah, we're eating right now. Okay, we're not doing too bad. Not too bad. Oh man, I was hoping they would lock down that arm so we're not getting all these dots. But we got some defense, and here we go. And then, oh, we locked it down. Nice. Ooh, let's see if, ooh, Kraken died. We still got some pushback, though, that's going to be able to come from, what's his name? Kashi? But I think we actually are able to get a heal here. So that helps a little bit. We got CC'd. Let's see. Now, Ling Lao, we just need to do something. Heal something, girl. You gotta... Okay, defense up, immunity, coming in clutch. But the Ting still died. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, we can't have the Tiamat die like that. All right, there we go. Yeah, as long as we can keep them from poisoning us like right in the beginning, that gives us a chance to actually ramp the Tiamat. All right. Nice, we got that pushback. And we should have a heal coming in. There we go. Boom. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's GG. We got the transformation now. So that should actually allow us to like literally finish that. We do this last arm over here. And then we just got to wait for Ling Lao to heal us again. There we go. Kraken died. That's okay, though, because, again, we still have Kachi for some pushback. So he'll be able to get some pushback in. Dude, we're at 15 stacks of bloodshed on Tiamat. It's crazy. If this would have been pre-nerf Tiamat, she'd be, like... she'd solo this. There we go. All right, so now... we're just going to actually heal here. Nice, good pushback. And now we could just work on the main body. And the Tiamat also is going to throw in her own heal over time as well. So we're gonna be fine. She gives us shield. She gives heal over time. So we're not stressed. Well, let's go one. Ooh, good taunt. Other than the fact I think all his abilities are AoE, I mean, that's just kind of that. All right, we got that heal over time. And now we're going for the main body. Yeah, now, yeah, we're fully healed. It's crazy how, like, if you can, like, just literally get rid of like certain things, the fight becomes not even a thing anymore. And if you got actually, like, again, my team isn't even remotely built for this, and I'm still trying to do it. The more that your team is built, the more that you can actually get done in this day, to be honest. And I would argue out of everybody, like, Tiamat's a pretty standard investment unit. Like, you don't need a whole bunch of crazy stats to get her to go crazy. All right, we got that taunt. Boom. All right, we should be coming to the tail end here. Give us that good old-fashioned heal, transformation. You would have thought they would have maybe put a cap on Tiamat's transformation, but they said, nah, she can just keep transforming. Like, okay. All right, and then this should be pushing us to the edge. Are we done? There we go. All right, so we cleared it with on both sides. All right, and then we have another card reader thing that we can pick here. So we have the crystal grid crates that we can change 3 random into crystal grid crates. Now, I mean, there's a couple of different things we could get there. We could get the lattice, or we could get the diamond. We can also gain or add another 3 mid-tier. I would say let's go with the 3 mid-tier, and then maybe we might get something else later. Okay. All right, so that's not bad. We'll take that. We'll take the mid-tiers. All right, so cool. We actually now can target and go in here after we unlock the other 3 signs. So we have to do the other collapse points. Once we do those, then we'll be basically good. So give me 1 second. Okay, guys, so unfortunately, while I was actually going through the Ethernet rally, I'm not sure if it reset or if it bugged out. But right now there's no way for me to actually continue it. Like if I come back in here, it like takes me to this screen. So I just wanted to actually record this because I'm going to probably put a pinned comment down below to let you guys know that, it's bugged. Like there's, obviously it's bugged or it's reset. I'm not 100% sure what happened. I don't think it reset. We should have still had some time, but, yeah, even like when you look at the total progress, like everything is just not there. So we're going to actually end day 6, for what it's worth right here. If you're farming Hell 2, that's perfectly fine. Again, we'll start day 7 off with making sure that you're able to try to, see what you can do going into Hell 3. Definitely will say that the most important thing is building up your foundation. If you don't have good enough pets, it's really going to make it really, really rough for you. So even now, like, I'm still farming pets, right? Like right now, I'm still farming pets in the background because that's actually a really, really big source of your power push. Even your base speeds, like that's going to be something you have to get up. Otherwise, it's just going to be really hard for you to do. So yeah, guys, that's basically going to be that for day 6. I hope that this video was able to give you some insight, maybe even help you normalize your, your hell teams for right now, at least, especially for Terra Matan, because I think Doki Doki's pretty straightforward. But yeah, we'll be streaming not today, but tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be getting into it then. All right. So that'll be that, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.